everybody, and welcome to the Dinner Parties Rehoboth Beach podcast. Dinner Parties Rehoboth Beach is a reality show taking place within the southern Delaware beach community. Our collective group of couples hold dinner parties in the Rehoboth Beach and Lewes areas at their homes or select party venues. Our cast are residents and members of the LGBTQ+ community who work and live in the community as business owners, community activists, in nonprofit, designers, and professional service providers. Each episode will focus on one couple's preparation and the experience around each of their dinner parties. All couples in attendance rate their experience by categories such as decorations, food and beverage, and entertainment. Our season finale will show a final party during the holiday season. Rehoboth Beach and Lewes, Delaware offer a unique backdrop as a beach town with wonderful shopping, ocean views, boating, and of course, beautiful beaches. In this podcast, we get to know each of our couples and their respective backgrounds with our host, Michelle Fenning, the creator of Dinner Parties Rehoboth Beach and co-founder of Blind Eye Productions. In this week's episode, we head down to Lewes, Delaware with our cast members, Rich and Miguel, and meet at the Children's Beach House, where Rich serves as their executive director. We discuss the Children's Beach House and its history, them owning a business together, as well as how it felt to be the first episode out for our series. Now, I'm going to let you hear the rest of their story, but, of course, take it away, Michelle.
Okay, so we're here with Rich and Miguel, and they are one of our couples for Dinner Parties Rehoboth, and we're just going to talk a little bit today about their story and what they do and their business and their philanthropic work here down at the beach. So let's start with Rich. So, Rich, welcome to our podcast.
Well, thanks, Mish.
And why don't you just give us a little brief description of what's going on right now this weekend while we're here?
So we're in the midst of a 3-day event, fundraising events for Children's Beach House. We started last night, which was a Friday night, with our opening gala, which is a huge party. We have a dance band. We have art on display for sale. We have a silent auction, a live auction, dinner. It's just a huge event, very glitzy, highly decorated. Miguel did all the decorating.
We did it together.
You did 99% of it. It was absolutely beautiful. It was black and white with a touch of red. And so that was last night. And then today we have a couple of concerts, a family concert. We have a concert this evening that is more oriented toward adults. We have a cash bar available for that one. And of course, all day today, we're open with our art show. And then tomorrow we'll end the day just 10 to 4. Our art show will be open. And then that'll end the weekend. It'll be a fully fun-packed weekend by the time it's over.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do here at the Children's Beach House, where it's located, and the mission?
Sure. So I'm the executive director of the Children's Beach House, entering my 21st year of service here. We work with children with communicative disabilities who also come from under-resourced families. So they're poor kids who have trouble communicating. These are the kids who get left behind, the kids who aren't able to easily connect either with other kids or with adults even. Even sometimes their parents and teachers have a hard time forming connections with them. So our work is all about building relationships for these kids, or opportunities for relationships, first with each other, with other kids that come into the program, and then secondly with competent, caring adults who are around them, their family members, adults in their schools, their communities, their churches, their civic organizations like after-school programs or service clubs, Boys and Girls Scouts, Boys and Girls Clubs, 4-H, all those things. And that's our work, is simply to build opportunities for connection. We know these kids are the highest risk kids in all of our communities. They're the kids, because they don't have connections, they often become loners. And if you work backwards and look at the biggest problems we've had in society with kids, like kids that pick up guns and hurt other people, they're all kids who have been ostracized and disconnected. So by forming connections, it's the most critical work we can do to put protective factors in place to keep kids safe. That's what we do here. We do it over a long period of time. We accept kids into the program between 7 and 12 years of age, and we work with them until they graduate from high school. So it's a long-term program. It's a positive youth development program. We spend a lot of time looking at the assets in the lives of kids, families, and communities, and figuring out how do we support, nurture, and build those assets so they can compensate for any of the other deficits that might exist.
And where's the Children's Beach House located?
So we're located right here on Delaware Bay in Lewes, Delaware, and although we serve families and kids all over the state, our main facility is here on the water, and we're able to bring kids here so they can learn to swim in our pool, and they can learn to sail and appreciate the natural environment of the Delaware beaches and bay. And
the Children's Beach House was founded by whom?
So it was founded in 1937 by Lydia Chichester DuPont. She had a little bit of a scoliosis problem, a curvature of the spine, and her family brought her to Rehoboth, where she thought that the sun and the sand and the salt water really contributed to some healing for her, and she wanted to do that for other kids. So she started the program, and it's been in existence ever since.
And tell us a little bit about your husband.
So my husband is Miguel de Leon Diaz, the one and only. And we've been married since 2018, so 5 years, and we'll be 6 years this coming June. Do you remember the date?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure he doesn't.
And what do you guys do for your own personal business? Miguel, you could take it, Miguel. Take it from here.
All right, I'm going to take.
This is Miguel's deal.
Well, first of all, I just got to say, got to give credit to my parents. Since I was little, they always helping other people. They're always busy, and sometimes they even forgot about their own family, just to provide comfort for other folks. And in this marriage or relationship, that's one of the things that I love about him. He's always doing something for the community. And like this month is one of the busy months for him. And sometimes, we don't even spend too much time during the day because he's busy and I'm busy in the business that we have together. Like last night, he literally came back home like 1 o'clock in the morning, I think. And then already 6:30, he was already here again. And it's just nice to see the heart that he has, and I think that's make us a great team together, and that's how we put all our strengths for the community, for these kids, children, that they need support, and support that I wish I can have when I was little. So it's kind of nice to be part of the community in that way. And now the business that we have is a gym, which also is still connected, helping the community, to be healthy. This gym is so much different and unique than the other gyms around, and that is because the population is literally 90% retired, and they come to the gym because they need a community, they need to be socialized with other folks, and at the same time working out. It's not the same workout the older, younger generation when they want to be big, they want to look great. They just come to just mobility exercises, and so that's something that we have together. We enjoy together. When you walk to the gym, everybody knows who you are. They welcome you. Hello, good morning. How are you? And then it's just amazing to see that relationships that I've been learning with Rich is you create relationships with people, and that opens a lot of doors. And so we can help them. And when we have activities like this, like yesterday, today, and tomorrow, like we also see the support from them. It's nice to see their faces, the gym members and the events supported, and that is very awesome.
So what's the gym called and where is it located?
So the gym's called Midway Motion and Fitness. It's located right in the middle between Lewes and Rehoboth, and that's why it's called Midway. But belongs to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. The gym, I think it's been open since 1985.
I think that's right.
That's the day that I born. Well, the year. But, yeah, so it's been there for long.
And I lucky enough, I go to the gym when I'm down here. And Miguel's very true, correct about what he's saying. It's a big sense of community at the gym. Everyone's welcome. There's lots of equipment. There's lots to do. They just expand it. Why don't you tell us a little about the outside expansion, when you added the outside part onto the gym, and the few changes that you've made recently?
Yes, I guess we saw the necessity during COVID times to have an outdoor patio because it was folks didn't want to be inside the buildings, which was tough for any gym in the area. So we created an outdoor space so people enjoy working outside. And now that we're still post COVID, there's still more new people that move in the area. And so now the gym continue growing and growing. And so I think for 2024 we have different plans for the gym. Maybe create an expansion in the back. That's because we really need it, and everybody came coming back to us saying, "Hey, we're very happy to be in this place." We hear so many stories from members. It's like, "Hey, I come with my wife and my husband, and I didn't want to come to the gym because I have a gym. I don't want to come inside to the gym." And then as soon as my husband said, "Hey, you should come inside because you're gonna like it," and she was like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing I ever did." And she's like, "I spend my 4 weeks during the week in the gym. I come, I do classes, I work out, and it's just awesome."
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Miguel. You could buy a gym membership and go to any amount of classes that you want. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's whatever you pay a month, that fee cover you 24-hour access to the gym, and they also give you all the classes available as well, which is a lot of classes. I gotta say the staff there is in the gym, they're amazing. They have the passion, and that's something that we're always looking for. We want someone to provide something that they love to do, not because it's a payroll staff. Of course, they all get paid, but they have that passion in their heart to help them, and that's one of the greatest feedback we have to them from the members. Like, "Hey, you have an amazing staff, and we're very lucky. So Midwest staff, thank you."
And it's easy to park when you
Yes.
come to the gym.
Parking lot
That's
is
key.
great. It's in a great location. It's a huge parking lot. I think we're very lucky with that. It's very flat. You don't have to. Well, Delaware's kind of flat, but this literally is very easy and accessible to anybody walking through the doors.
But I gotta say, all of that's true. We have wonderful facility. We have the outdoor patio. We have a phenomenal staff. We have great members. We've got decent programming and equipment. But the secret sauce is really you. The secret sauce is really the way you welcome people, the way that everybody's important to you. It's amazing when I go into the gym and I walk around and everybody's saying, "Oh, where's Miguel? Is Miguel here?" Nobody ever says, "Hi, Rich, glad to see you." It's all about Miguel now. And you have put your mark on that place in a way that has changed the business. It's made it so much better. And it's definitely your baby.
Oh, well, thank you. But I always say it's a teamwork. We have an amazing team together. And the other thing is, we're very lucky, and I said this again, the staff that we have, they're amazing. Most of the time I love customer service, so you have to kind of train your people how to treat people, but I don't have to do that with them. They have, if anybody misses just for a week in the gym, they're already calling the member and say, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on? Is there anything we can help?" And so our customer service that make the difference from everybody else. And guess what? I don't have to say anything to them because they have it. So that is awesome.
That's true, they do. But you do set an environment and a tone.
Well, thank you.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you guys met?
All right, well, I should tell the story.
There's two stories.
There's always two stories.
Well,
Two
there's
stories.
Miguel's story, and then there's the truth, which I will tell you. Right? So, 20 years ago, almost, I didn't own Midway Fitness, and but I worked out there. And Miguel worked out there, and one day I was working out, and usually I'm in my own little zone when I used to work out, not lately, but I
already think this story isn't exactly accurate, but go ahead.
And who died and left you the judge of accuracy in stories? So, anyway, I'm in my own little zone. I have my earphones on, and all of a sudden I become aware of this young kid staring at me and following me, and I got a little uneasy actually. Felt a little unsafe. But anyway, we started talking. We ended up in the sauna and we started talking, and then we continued to talk in the locker room and then walking out to the car, and we just knew we had a connection. And but I was married at the time to my first wife, and not my second wife, and so we recognized that we had a connection, but it just wasn't going to go anywhere. So we parted ways, and then I didn't see Miguel again for another 15 years. And in the meantime, my wife passed away, and the manager at the gym hired Miguel to work there. And one day I stopped in with my mom, and I don't know why I stopped in the gym to do something, and someone said, "Oh, there's our new staff person on a treadmill," and they told Miguel I was the owner, so he jumped off the treadmill and came over to say hello. And still I didn't make the connection. I didn't recognize him because, 15 years had gone by, and he wasn't this, 19-year-old anymore. Now he's well into his 30s. So anyway, he was doing a great job at the gym, and everybody kept saying to me, "Oh, this guy never stops. He cleans all the time." And so one night, it's still my habit occasionally to look at the cameras to see what's going on the floor of the gym, and I saw him, and he's working. He never stops. He's like doing laundry and cleaning, and so I called the gym and I thanked him for his work. And so we started chatting, and then I stopped in and we chatted some more eventually, and then one thing led to another, and we ended up having dinner. And so the moral of the story, for almost 20 years, he laid in waiting, and stalking me. Right? That's what happened. So.
Okay, Miguel, let's hear the real story.
Oh, my story. No, it's actually matched almost everything, and I just want to add some more things. I definitely believe in when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. When we met the first time, it was in the gym, and that's one of the reasons that we love the gym, because it's our baby. That's where we met. And of course, when we talked that day in the parking lot, because I would even think we talked in the sauna, but I don't remember that. But I do remember I talked to him in the parking lot of the gym, and we just went straight to the questions. And he told me he was married, and I was still in my life. I was still in church. I was very religious, so I was also struggling to do something like that. And so I said, this is not going to go nowhere. So we don't even change names. We don't even change phone numbers. So it would just literally meet up in the parking lot, and then I was like, okay, bye. And we never see it again for so many years. And finally, I keep going back to the gym. I used to have memberships around like 2 gyms, I think. And finally, I come back again. I remember the current manager asked me if I wanted to work, and I was like, I don't want to work. I really don't need it. But finally, I give up until he said, you have free membership. And I was like, okay, I'll take this. So yeah, and that's when he come inside, and somebody from the staff told me, do you ever met the owner? And I said, no, I don't know who's the owner of the gym. And when I saw him, I was like, looks so familiar. I don't know who, but he reminded me of someone. And I wasn't sure, I didn't know what to ask. So, so we just meet again. And when he called me at the gym, and we tried to talk again, and he actually invited me to go for dinner. And I said, this is my opportunity. I can ask my questions. And so we went for dinner. It was I'm still in my transition. I was not out yet. So we went to downtown Rehoboth, one of the gay streets. And he took me to a restaurant that was on the other street. So he parked right in the busy street where the gay community is. And I told him, do you mind if when you get out from the car, you go to the other side, and I go through the other side, and we met in the other corner? Huh. And he actually did it. I mean, and
I did it thinking I was with a whack job.
Because I was, I was afraid to come out of the closet. I was still in the transition, so it was hard for me. And, I'm glad that he actually got patient with me. He did it. We met in the corner on the other side of the street, and then we went to the restaurant.
We had a secret clandestine dinner.
Yes. And that's when I actually asked the question. I said, hey, do you remember this car? Do you remember, this location? And he's like, how do you know this? I was like, well, I love cars. So, yeah, and then he remembered me. So, and that's when I asked him, hey, so I saw you coming with your wife at the gym, and he's like, no, that's my mom. And I was like, oh, sorry. And then he's like, my wife passed away. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And so that's when I say it was meant to be. Since day one, I felt something very special for him. And I can say to you right now, I felt something very special. And, it was hard when it was impossible, because in that moment it was impossible. But I believe in God that He actually made everything happen. And I was right in the perfect time when I prayed to God, I need someone in my life. And I changed my prayer, because I always asking for a specific gender. But when I literally understand a little bit more better, I ask God for whatever you think is good for myself. And literally, he appears. Now, he didn't appear like that, but it wasn't that.
He might have made a mistake, Miguel.
Yeah.
Zip it.
Yeah. So, I'm very thankful, and I'm happy, and I hope we have many, many, many more years together.
Yes. And we're 5 years in, 6 or 7 years in of being together, and we're still just as happy and excited and genuinely love being together as much as we did 6 years ago. So far, so good.
So we've known Rich since 1986. I met him first, and then my husband tagged along and became friends with him.
Actually, that's not true. I met your husband first, but I thought he was a jerk.
Right.
So I didn't really like him. And then I met you, and I loved you. And then Kevin grew on me.
Right.
And then we became best friends.
He's a nice guy.
So when Rich married his first wife, Martha, we were okay, because we knew that Martha liked Kevin. And I was like, okay, well, this is good. And then when Martha passed, we were very, very sad about us losing her. But then Rich met Miguel. And I said to my husband, if Miguel doesn't like us, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, you would have just had to find a new best friend.
And it turned out he did like us, unless he's pretending. But that's okay.
Oh, no.
I know. So let's talk about the fact that dinner parties now is something we're sharing. And so you all have seen the show at Rich and Miguel's house. It's the only show we have out there. So I want them to talk a little bit about like the dinner party and how they came up with the theme, and like where they think we're going to go. So let's talk about your dinner party, because there was a lot of good stuff at your dinner party.
There was a lot of good stuff, and a lot of good stuff sort of behind the scenes, and that I think it's worth exploring a little bit. Miguel had a vision in his head about doing a sort of an island theme party, and he knew what he wanted. We had in that home a beautiful outdoor area, and the house is a very tiny little rancher house. We don't live there anymore, but the outside was beautiful. It had a pool and an outdoor fireplace and a patio, and Miguel figured out how to build this little thatched hut, and we worked for hours on this thing. We decorated outside, and then it poured rain.
Poured.
Yes.
And we couldn't have the event outside. We had to move everything inside. All the guests, the film crew, the lighting, the sound people, the makeup, the chef, the entertainer, the drag queen. There's all this drama, and you don't really catch all of it, I don't think, when you watch the show,
Right.
But
You kind of saw the finished product on the show.
you saw the finished product, not the drama behind it, not the making of the sausage, so to speak, right? But Miguel's so funny, because when he's got a vision in his head, it's like, get out of my way, this is what I'm doing. And it was beautiful. The whole thing from start to finish was beautiful, and nobody got to see it.
Of course, with the range, it was nothing we can do. And I think, I think we would have a better scores or more fun party if everything was outside.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I'm happy that it happened like that. And one of the reasons, because now we live in another house. Because, and you could just say, we learned that day, things can happen. And it rained, so now what was plan B? Plan B was inside the house, but it was not big enough. So that's when I told him, okay, next time we have another big party, we just have a bigger place. So we moved to another little bit bigger place, and well, we're looking forward to the next party. I
Yeah,
think
we didn't really move for dinner parties, though. We moved because Miguel likes to entertain, and so do I.
yeah,
And we constantly have folks at the house, so it does work better. But
yeah.
but anyway, we're looking forward to the next one. I mean, Tom and Vince are great guys. I don't think they can hold a candle to us in terms of how to plan and execute a party, but that's just me. And I'm looking forward to a little bit of competition.
Actually, Chris and Eric are out for blood.
Well, we did set such a high bar, but we didn't pull out all the stops on purpose. So, you saw last night how we can really go over the top with decoration and entertainment, but we still haven't pulled out all the stops.
So let's talk a little bit about your current home. And I was there last night and today, and it's beautifully decorated for Christmas. But they have a very special location at their house, what they call the hangar. So let's tell everybody about sort of like the hangar and the property and kind of like where you guys are and why you chose that area.
Well, I guess everything started when we have the experience about the last party. We did rain, and we're like, we definitely need a bigger space. So we have a friend of ours that she is real estate and was Amanda Ryan, yes, and she is really a good friend from Rich and I, and she always did an amazing job. So we asked her, whatever you ask her, she actually listened to you. So we're like, hey, Amanda, this is what we want. We need something that we have a space. We love parties. We want to keep doing parties. And it's not just parties for fun. It's always to sometimes raise money and help the Children's Beach House or any other nonprofit. And she actually pulled it out. So she found this house that is a hangar, and that means it's a neighborhood with everybody has airplane, helicopters. We don't have that.
No, we
yet.
don't have an airplane or a helicopter.
It's on my list, but who knows? So now we do have a big hangar that we can have all the parties, and we already have 2 parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were really good. So yeah, go ahead.
So we live on Hudson Field, and
Mm-hmm.
Hudson Field was part of it is an aerodrome. So it's a small airport with a grass runway. All single-engine planes and helicopters. And the folks that live there are folks that fly as a hobby, and some of them fly for business to get back and forth for business purposes to wherever they need to go. And so we live in an enclave of 28 homes around the airfield, and I think all but 2 or 3 of them have hangars. So and our property is unique not just because of the hangar and because it backs up to the taxiway that leads to the runway, but we also have a whole wing on the house that was originally constructed to be an indoor pool. And one of the reasons we really loved this property when we saw it is we think it has the potential to turn that wing, the pool is unusable, but we could turn it into 3 suites and maybe certainly use them for our own entertaining, but also maybe an Airbnb type situation. So it's a really unique property between the hangar, the airfield, and the indoor pool building.
Yeah, kind of like a fly-in. If for those folks that have airplanes and they want to come visit Lewes or Delaware, you can bring your airplane, you can put it in the hangar, and they can stay in the rooms. And of course, we can have party, because we love to host people.
So let's talk a little bit about. You've been here a while now, Rich. How many years down in the beach area here?
Came 20 years ago, 2003.
And what changes can we talk about and the strength of the gay community here and the works that are going on and the involvement and just the difference in population and, because I even see a difference, but you've lived here, so.
Right. So there's been many changes over the last 20 years, and anyone that lives here will tell you that one of the biggest changes is the influx of folks moving to this community. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the country. It is, it's booming. It's expanding so rapidly. So many farms and other open spaces have been bought up and turned into communities. There's a lot that comes with that. There's lots of wonderful things about the community growing. It's much more diverse. It's there's it's mostly retired folks still, but there's quite a number of young folks coming here with kids because the school district is booming and expanding. For example, we're part of the Lewes Rainbow Club.
I was going to mention that. It's like normally you kind of know the LGBT communities in Rehoboth. Now Lewes become a very popular LGBT community, and they start actually members of the gym. They start a little happy hour. It was like 2 or 3, 4 people. Now they have like how many?
500 members.
500 members,
Yeah.
and so this community in Lewes grown. It is still growing, and that's part of the things that I love about this area. Straight folks, they're very open mind. They welcome everybody. And that's something that I love about the gym. It's very open mind. Everybody welcomes everyone. It doesn't matter what color, what race, or what gender or you believe. And so I see the difference, and especially the last, I think during COVID, we have a lot of younger population because now they can work from home. So they literally decide to, I was talking with someone volunteer yesterday in the band, and she was like, we literally moved during COVID because my husband was able to work from home, and we decided to move, and they still in their 30s. They're very professional young couple, and she was like saying, I'm happy, this neighborhood is beautiful, my kids can go to a grade school, and I think their kid come to here, I'm not sure. But so she was saying their story, and I was like, yeah, that's why we now having more younger population, and we saw even in the parties like last night we have more younger crowd.
There were a big younger crowd last night. I noticed,
which I'm happy because I'm still a millennial. Yes.
If you think about Provincetown or you think about Key West, this community is expanding in ways like Key West is less gay these days than it was 15 or 20 years ago. Provincetown is still very, very much a gay place to go and to feel safe and welcome and all of that. But it's it's landlocked. It's a small piece of a peninsula, right? It's not ever going to get any bigger. It is what it is, and although it's exciting and it's fun and it's got wonderful markets and restaurants and all that, it can't expand the way we are, and so it's a really different experience. And we can keep going west. We just we can go as far west as we want here.
Right.
So it's but with that expansion comes some negatives. Traffic is much different now. Infrastructure, we're building schools, and that has an impact on our taxes. We've got to build new roads, and we've got to expand existing roads. We got to look at things like the electrical grid and the sewer and water systems. Like all of that is connected. Emergency services, hospital services, all of that has to grow here, to keep up with the population.
You were awarded from the First Lady. The Children's Beach House was awarded something where the First Lady was here. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So we didn't win an award. Well, I guess
you
that's
were
not
awarded.
True. We were selected as her charity of choice for the Congressional Spouses Luncheon. It used to be the Congressional Wives Luncheon. And so earlier this year, First Lady Biden nominated the Children's Beach House to be her charity of choice. And so a collection was taken among the spouses of the Senate members, and there was a luncheon held to honor Dr. Biden, and we were listed in the program, and then we received a gift from the spouses of the Senate luncheon. And then she actually came to visit us, which was very exciting. Regardless of your politics, having the President and First Lady come from such a small state, and I can remember in high school when Senator Biden used to visit us, and we'd say to our teachers, he's really great. Do you think he could ever be president? And our teachers would say, not a chance in hell, because it's such a small state. our teachers in high school were wrong, and Senator Biden became President Biden, and again, we're very, very proud of that. Just because, I mean, how often can someone say, they live in the state where the president's from?
In fact, right up the pathway, basically.
Exactly. He, when he and his family are here, they shut down our little airport, and there's a gun.
I don't think everybody's happy for that.
No, of course, but wherever any president's going to be
Right.
flying to, they're going to shut down the airspace. So, but they own a home in Rehoboth, right down. It's actually quicker to go by water than by car, and we're out on the water frequently. And whenever they're in town, we see the military boats with guns on it. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
The one other big, huge part of our lives is our dogs.
Oh, everybody talked about their dogs. Yeah, talk about your dogs.
So before I was with Miguel, I had two little Cavalier King Charles dogs, and they've been with me now about 11 years.
Raleigh and Petey.
And they're little lap dogs, and they're fun and happy, and they love people, and everybody loves them. But it's not what Miguel had in mind in terms of dogs.
Well, I grew up with German Shepherds when I was little, so I love big dogs, and Petey and Raleigh, they were super small. And I also wanted to have something that I picked, like, okay, I picked this dog. So I was looking for a German Shepherd, and I found this white husky. She's a little bit mixed with Shepherd. Her name is Joy, and we actually got her in Christmas time 2 years ago. And that's why we call her Joy, because she brings joy in Christmas for us. And she's beautiful, she's gorgeous.
She's spoiled, thanks to you.
I think I can do anything for her, like, literally. But again, so everybody knows Husky has a lot of energy, and so we can keep up with her.
Well, not only that, but she was trying to play with the little dogs.
The little ones, yes.
And the little dogs, they're older, and they couldn't keep up.
They're
With her.
13 years old.
So what was your solution?
So the solution was had another Husky, so they can play together with the same energy, and that's how Jinx arrived to our family. So the beauty of Jinx and Joy is, they play together, so we don't have to worry too much for them. They're happy. And the other thing that I like about Jinx is it has your beautiful eyes.
Aw, and Joy has your beautiful eyes.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, it is true. That's something that we love about it. Yes.
So the dogs are important. The Cavaliers both came from Cavalier Rescues, but one of the things that's really cool about this community, there are several animal rescue programs, and one is Delaware Humane Society, where Patrick Carroll heads up, and the other one is the Brandywine SPCA, that's headed up by Adam Lamb. Both of those guys are members of our community, and they are phenomenal men, and they do wonderful work for animals. And so we're true believers in not purchasing dogs from breeders, but there's a ton of dogs and cats that need homes, and so we like to contribute by adopting instead of buying.
And now that we have a bigger house and a bigger yard, I definitely can have more dogs, but he said
We're okay with 4. 4's good.
I want more than 4.
I did see Jinx playing in the yard this morning.
He is cute. He's a wonderful dog. They all are.
So, I asked this question to everybody who did the podcast, and I'm asking you guys a question now. No one had preparation, so this is how it went for everybody else. If you had the ultimate anything, budget, no restrictions, whatever it is, what would your dream dinner party be? And name 5 people, dead, alive, past, present, who you would want to have at the party. And what would the party look like?
You have this answer.
Well, you're both going to answer. You're both going to answer. So, and there's no right or wrong here. It's like whatever
Right.
you know.
I think both of us would say the dream dinner party would be in a beautiful location on the water, right? You love your water views, and not too hot, but definitely a time of the year where we could be outside and even in the water if we wanted to be. I could even see doing something off a magnificent boat. Of course, we don't have that either, or an airplane. We don't, or a house on the water. But I think that I think the water house would be our dream, don't you? In terms of, like, I love what we did here last night. The dancing, the band, just the pure joy that people were experiencing. Being together, part of a community that's supporting a good cause. I think that just last night it was sort of magical in that way. I love that. The food was phenomenal. The decorations are great.
What food would you have? If you could pick any food, no budget limit.
I'll probably go for ribeye steak.
Right. I
knew he was going to pick steak.
Right. I would say, again, last night we had steak and shrimp and lobster, and that was phenomenal.
Okay.
You know, I think we would do
Of course, tacos as well.
And tacos on the side, yeah. We always have to have a nod to the tacos. Yep.
Who would your 5 people be? Each of you get to pick 5 people.
Well, I would love to talk to 5 leaders from history, and I would love to have like some of our best presidents. And I'm afraid if I name who I think are the best presidents, that could get me in trouble. But I would love to have 5 of our greatest leaders in history. And I would like to have 2.5 Republicans and 2.5 Democrats. That's what I would like to do. And I would think people like Lincoln and Kennedy and I don't even want to go any further, but again, people from both parties and just thought leaders that can help us think about where we are in this country today. No matter what anybody says, it's the greatest country in the world, and I would love to have those conversations.
I would like to stay close with people that I actually, met and they maybe passed away. Probably one of my best friends was Michael Thornsberry. He passed away. I would love to, he being with us. And because he was kind of my mentors. He was not perfect, but he was there for me. He was actually there when we married.
Right.
And it was a good friendship, and that's in my friend's side. And my family definitely will be my parents. I wish they can be with us. My transition coming out was literally 3 years ago, and unfortunately 2.5.
Yeah.
So not everybody in my family is okay with it. So even part of my family, they live in this 30 minutes away from here. They don't even talk to me, and I understand that. We all different process, and it took me many years to come out of the closet. So I know that's going to be the same thing for the other side. Am I going to take years to accept it? But on the other side, my family talk and my parents definitely still support me, and then so I would love to have them for sure. So probably I can go back to one of my teachers when I was younger, but yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, she was really good. Her name is Mirna. I don't know if she's still alive, but she was someone that literally touched my soul when I was little, and in every single way. It doesn't matter if you have money or if you don't have money. As soon as you always take a shower, you wash your clothes and be presentable, and that literally is in me all the time. And probably that's why you always tell me, why you always look good, why you
always dressed
and that's
up,
because
always.
It doesn't
Perfect.
matter if you go to the store, it doesn't matter where you go, you always gotta be presentable. And that actually got that from her. I remember her. She was beautiful, she was always looked sharp, and yeah, I would definitely love to have her.
And that's a wrap. Thank you guys again for joining us for another week. We will be taking a holiday hiatus from our podcast and coming back in the new year with episodes featuring our producers, some of the entertainers, community activists in the area, and more. To support Rich Miguel, you can check out Midway Fitness at 34823 Derrickson Drive, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and at midwayfitness.com. And for more information about the Children's Beach House and their fundraising events, you can head to cbhinc.org. Support for the show comes from Blind Eye Productions and in collaboration with Cabin Fever Events Company. We are currently looking for funding to finalize the production of our Season 1. If you or an organization you are a part of would like to participate, please reach out to us at dinnerpartiesrehobothbeach@gmail.com. Like I said, that is dinnerpartiesrehobothbeach@gmail.com. Other than that, please take time, watch episode 1, see what we're all about, as well as follow us on social media to keep up with the cast members. Other than that, have a great day, and thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.